mentioned creating your own path. What's the path that you want to create for yourself?
I want to get a message out and help other people while also building myself up and getting what I want.
That was good. Yeah. Happiness is what happens.
And that stuck with me even through challenging times that followed uh, being in the army, being an educator. When people didn't believe in me, I still was able to believe in myself because
5 years ago, I discovered podcasts and it changed my life because I started to listen to all these podcasts and start to hear all of this free information and all these fly on the wall conversations with these amazing people. And it literally changed who I am as a person. So
find that, whatever it is, that truth that aligns with us, that makes us feel good, and use that to ground us.
Wow, because life is going to come faster to those people who do that to credit.
So I just want to say, whoever's listening, thank you. Hey everyone, welcome to the Case by Casey podcast. I'm your host, Jethro Casey, and if you're a new listener, this podcast is all about uncovering the secrets to success, one case at a time. I'll be interviewing amazing guests to try and understand what it means to win and succeed in life. If you want to go faster, you go alone, but if you want to go further, we go together. So join me on trying to figure out the secrets to success. Today, I'm interviewing a social media influencer, TikToker, YouTuber, and gym enthusiast, and my good friend, Jalen Johnson. Welcome, Jalen, to the Case by Casey podcast.
Yo, thank you, Jethro. I really appreciate you, bro. What's up,
no
guys?
problem. So the interesting thing is me and Jalen have only met one time in person, I think.
Yeah, it was once.
So it's pretty crazy because people talk all the time about being able to like make friends over the internet, and I thought for a while I was like, yeah, that's BS. Like I don't believe in that. And then Jalen is like somebody who's acting like me and him talk all the time. It's like pretty crazy actually.
Nah, for a fact, bro. Yo, we met through the fraternity stuff. And yo, we kicked it over right away. Jethro was my guy. And yo, when we met in person, I was even telling Thomas this, who's my like partner in crime. We were talking about how much we fucked with you, bro. Just like amazing vibes, like all the way. You feel me? Super cool guy.
I appreciate that. So the first question I got is a little quote from you. You should enjoy the little detours in life to the fullest, because that's where you'll find the things more important than what you want. Can you just explain why that quote is so important to you?
Okay, I got you. So a while back, actually, like this is back when I was in high school, I believe I heard that. And it really stuck with me because when you're pursuing a lot of things in life, you're focused on the end goal, but you'll like come across a lot of people, have a lot of events and stuff that affect you that are kind of worth more than like what happens at the end. You know what I mean? Like through, I guess, social media and just like building my following and everything on that journey to get to where I am. I've met people like you and there's like a whole bunch of other people who have really just like encouraged me to be the best version of myself. You know what I mean, bro? So it's just at the end of the day, that journey and like the whole process is super important. And you know, it'll be the biggest factor, I feel like. It's a little detours.
Hold on. So there's somebody in over here making mad noise. I'll be right back.
You're good, bro. No worries.
All right. So I also brought my notebook to. I also brought down my notebook to take some notes. Let me go to page.
All Gucci, bro.
All right. So you mentioned that you've gotten the chance to meet a lot of people, and you said I'm one of the people who encouraged you. So I really appreciate that and inspired you. So I really appreciate that. So as an influencer, you have just that, the ability to influence people's lives. Can you describe the feeling you get when someone says you, Jalen, that you inspired them to be better?
Bro, wait, I have a quick question. I have a very quick question. Am I allowed to curse or no? Okay. Bro, that shit touches my fucking heart, bro. Cause, just coming from being me, like, I'm just Jalen in my eyes, but then someone tells me like I inspired them and brought them to a new level. And it makes me feel good. Just the fact that a simple post like could change someone. I didn't even know it did until they told me. You get what I mean? It's like certain things in like your life you realize do influence people. People are watching, and you have an image to uphold. And if you're able to help people and make their lives better, I feel like that's fucking great. You know what I mean? And I got something to say, bro. Like, and if whatever I say is able to improve somebody else, bro, that shit make me feel great. It's just about helping others. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm interested. Was this always something? So, like, first, when did you, I guess, want to commit to being an influencer and kind of going on your social media journey? Because there's definitely a point where you decide to post more, be more active on social media. So, when did you commit to that process of like, this is like kind of what I want to be to people?
That's a good ass question. Okay, so I've always wanted to like do it. You know what I mean? I feel like you had that idea in the back of your head always of something you want to do. And then you're like, fuck, I don't know if I should do it. And one day I was like, yo, I could really do this shit if I wanted to. So I want to. So I'm gonna do it. You feel me? It's always on my head. And I'm like, I don't want to be one of those people who are like, well, what if I did do it? I'm going to. So I just did it. And I loved it.
So that's exactly how I felt about starting the podcast for months. I had this idea, and even my brother, he was telling me like, yeah, like you should like start something. And I was just like making excuses, like, what about this? Who's gonna listen? Blah blah blah. And then eventually the name Case by Casey just like popped into my head. I was like, yo, that's a good idea, but still, like months and months, I decided not to do it. But I think that's very important. I think that's something that people should focus on is when they have that idea in their head. Something that has been like a reoccurring theme on the interviews that people get so focused on what's in their thoughts and rather than take action. So what are some ways that you, when you're like in your head, that you can get out of your head and actually just take the steps that you know you need to take in life?
That's actually a very, very good question. So I feel like I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the times I am in my head. It's common to be in your head. It's regular. People are insecure. You're gonna feel that literally every single day. But I also don't want to worry about not taking those actions. You know what I mean? I'd rather fail, like fail fucking miserably, than do nothing at all. And I know a lot of people talk about being in your comfort zone and whatnot, but bro, you gotta put up with the rain. If shit's a fan, you just gotta go through it. At least you tried, bro. You're gonna make it up way further than the person who was just like, all right, I'm gonna just do it. So when it comes to getting out of my own head, I'm just like, yo, do it, bro. What's the worst that can happen? If you don't do it, nothing's gonna happen. If you do it, something may happen, or you could just fail and try again.
Yeah, I think something's huge. Something huge is that people shouldn't be afraid of failure. Failure is scary. It's definitely not something that you want to go through, but something that you need to go through. You've never. So I was listening to the Steve Harvey. I think it's Earn Your Leisure, and he was on the podcast, and he says you've gone through all the bad days that you've been through, Jalen, that I've been through, that whoever's listening has been through. You've gone through 100% of them. And I think that shows that even when you do fail in life, especially like the bad days where you feel like there's like, wow, damn, like I don't know what to do, or just today's just not going my way. I think you got to understand that today is just that. It's just one day, and that you're gonna have another day tomorrow and another opportunity. So one thing I want to ask you is how important is you mentioned that when you're having like a struggle with focus, that you have the ability. Fuck, I don't know where I'm going with this. What I'm trying to say is you have somebody in your corner, Thomas, who's very important to you, and he's pushed you through a lot. How has he pushed you through those situations where you're struggling in life, and what have you kind of, I guess, what's the question I'm trying to say is how important is that person in your life, and how important is it for other people to find somebody like Thomas who can push you?
Okay, that's a great question, bro. Because I swear to God, if I never met Thomas or didn't have Thomas, I definitely wouldn't be where I am at all. You know what I mean? If you can find a friend doesn't even have to be a friend. It could be a family member, a girlfriend, whatever. If you can find somebody who brings you to another level, you'll go super far. Because me personally, I feel like in your head you can be like, yo, I can do all this shit by myself, but you do need assistance to a certain degree. You know what I mean? And that's my assistance. You know what I'm you feel me, bro? Like if a friend can bring you to those levels and want the best for you and you're able to do that for them too, you gotta stick with them. Because I mean, one, that's like family. And two, bro, y'all are gonna grow together. You're gonna build an empire and just feed off of each other and keep bringing each other to a better level and those around you. And it'll just like start wiping off. And you know, your company is really like it defines you. And I ain't gonna lie, he defined me a lot, bro. Like he's made me who I am today. Damn, that sounds like this nigga my boyfriend or some shit. But nah, he dead ass has helped me like a shit ton. That's like a brother to me. That is my brother.
Well, that's what's up. And I think that bond that you have with Thomas and just the camaraderie, just like how you said he's family, I think that's something that a lot of people yearn in life, and that's something that a lot of people are missing out on. So you also said that I saw on Instagram, you said that throughout your life, you've seen a lot of people have goals and dreams, but rather than putting in the work for what they want, they are more satisfied with the thought of what that dream is. Why do you think people are so afraid to chase after their dreams? And this kind of goes back to being stuck in their own head. Why do you think people are so afraid to kind of go after what they want?
Cause bro, even like as a kid, you may have like, I don't know, like your parents or some shit telling you can't do something, whether it be like I remember Kanye used to use this as an example. Like you can't your parent will be like, yo, don't jump on the coffee table. So like your whole life you're like, all right, I'll never do that shit. Then you got a fucking a mountain of shit you can't do or you think you can't do. Meanwhile, you can, you know. So people fear taking those steps just because of I feel like what other people will think. You know what I mean? Like if you're being held back your whole life, then it's gonna definitely be hard to really reach your full potential, you know, and get that like self-actualization of, yo, I can do this. And sometimes it happens later in life. Like I know you see like these celebrities and stuff, they didn't find out who they wanted to be until they're like 40. So sometimes you find it early, sometimes you don't, as long as you find it. Because if you don't, you're gonna be just like everybody else. And you don't want that. You don't want to be that person that you're like, fuck, like regular. You know, there's be you, be special. Like there's always gonna be something within you that you could do better. But if you're not willing to do that, it's just gonna keep holding you back. And you might not think about it like on the daily, but internally that shit's it's in your head, bro. And me personally, I don't want to deal with that. If I can't if I can't live the way I want to, bro, what's like the point? Yo, you're meant to live. Like it's life. You don't want to just survive by doing some other shit. Be you. Do exactly what you want to do. Run shit.
And I think that's some great advice because I think a lot of people, especially now with social media and like in our generation, try and view celebrities, their friends, and try and live through that, like through their lives. They'll see these people on social media who are showing like their best life, showing themselves in their best light, which is what social media is for. And they're not really focused on being them. They're trying to be somebody else. And I think that's something very important. You said be you. And I had this conversation on another podcast where the guy said that's the only thing you can be in life. You can try and be, somebody can try and be like you, Jalen, or try and be like me, but they can never be you or me better than we can. So I think that's super dope and super
Exactly,
amazing.
bro.
Mm-hmm.
Literally exactly. I was having a conversation with Thomas like similar to this a while back. And I came to I guess an epiphany or a realization. Because in the past he'd be like, yo, like I'm gonna be the next so and so, like I'm gonna be the next Kanye West, I'm gonna be like whatever, or maybe like with podcasts, I'll be the next Joe Rogan or something like that. But don't be the next you. Cause that's literally how they became popular. They made their own path. You can't follow somebody else's. Follow your own path, and people are gonna come to you, and you will be the greatest.
So we're both young, and to the listeners, me and him are both 20. You just turned 20, right? By the way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just turned 20 April.
First of all, happy birthday, happy belated. But
Thank you, bro.
so what I say is we're both young, and you mentioned creating your own path. What's the path that you want to create for yourself?
That's a great question, bro. So me personally, I just want like freedom, you know? I feel like that's everybody's goal. Eventually freedom, whether it be when you're like old, like 60 through retirement or whatever, or young by starting it now. Find freedom and find something that you want to do. And I don't want to be old and waiting for that. Like I'm 20 and it feels like I've lived a long ass time. I can't wait another 20 years to be where I want to be. It's like obviously life takes time, but I want to start that progress now and get that freedom I want. But also, like I said earlier, I have something to say. Like I want to get a message out and help other people while also building myself up and getting what I want. So yeah.
So one of the ways that we've both built ourselves up towards that freedom that you talk about, and I think that's something that everybody wants, like you were saying, everybody wants to be free. And it's been about 2 years since you started working out seriously. Well, I just want to know, what have you learned about yourself from lifting in these past 2 years? Because I have an idea of what I've learned, but I want to know what you learned.
I got you, bro. So the biggest thing I've learned, nigga, be consistent, bro. Be consistent. There's gonna be days where you don't want to do like jack shit. Nigga just laying in bed like this. Bro, you gotta just get up and do it. As fucked as you may feel, you might want to take a day off. And you could. You could take a day off after a while. But there's gonna be those days where you legit just gotta push through that shit. But that doesn't only go into like working out, it's just life in general. You know what I mean? You might not want to like write a script or some shit or whatever, but you know you got to do it if you want to get those goals. You feel me? But I want to know your answer now. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, so I think the biggest things I've learned from lifting are, one, like you were saying, consistency, but I look at more, same thing, I guess, same coin, uh, just discipline. I think consistency, discipline, all that means is that you're just able to, like how you said, regardless of how you feel in the moment, you still do the right thing. And I think that's something that a lot of people, but especially myself, struggled with, especially growing up. And I think that's something that college and just kind of being on your own has taught me personally, is just being able to do things regardless of how I feel. Kind of responsibility, adulting in a sense. But
Yeah.
and the second thing is that I realized that I can actually improve. That was like my first taste of like self-improvement, because before I started like reading books or listening to podcasts, I was
You put me
just
onto that shit, by the way.
I was just like 17 years old in my high school gym, and I just decided to like start lifting weights, and I realized like, wow, there's like so much more, I guess, opportunity. There's so much more potential that I have, and I think that's something that a lot of people miss out, regardless of if it's weightlifting in the gym. It could be literally any physical activity. I think as long as you're active and you're moving, you kind of realize that you can actually do so much more than you're just, I guess, what you're doing currently. Um, so you also, let's see. So a lot of people struggle with goals and obtaining their goals. How do you kind of push towards your goals, and what advice would you have to somebody who has trouble setting, like goal setting and achieving the goals that they do set?
Um,
So I asked a lot of questions there. So
no,
what?
nah, you're good, bro.
Okay, okay.
When it comes to setting goals, I'm not gonna lie. I do shoot like high as fuck. Not to the point where it's unrealistic, but it's just like to the point where you're like, oh shit, will this nigga get it? Like, you know, like when you're watching a show and you see some just like, is he gonna do this shit? But it's like, yo, it adds tension. Like, will I do it? Hell yeah, I will though. You feel me? But goal setting wise, when it comes to making those goals, like I said, aim high, you know, shoot for the stars so you can land on a cloud. You feel me? But also, like, believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Make it realistic, something you want to do, but believe in yourself and have people there to help you achieve those goals. Don't be in a negative environment to where like the people you are around will like prevent you from reaching those goals. Because misery loves company, bro. And like shit, your company makes you you. So you got to be around good people if you want to reach those goals. And if you don't have those people around you, just be in a good mindset because you're your company as well. So that's what I got to say about that.
So one of the things that seemed that helps you grow is pressure, and I've kind of realized this about myself too. Because you said, "Am I gonna reach it?" It's like a little like battle between yourself. You have to figure out if you're gonna push yourself hard enough. And something I've realized is like what is it? Pressures or diamonds are formed under pressure. I think it's like seriously
Mm-hmm.
when it's whether it's like weightlifting, like reading a book, whatever, running, whatever it is, just pushing myself a little bit more and putting myself in a circumstance where it's like I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this. So, for example, I went running the other day and I was like, I'm going to run a 10K, which is like 6.2 miles. And I was
Damn.
just like, and I was like 2 miles in, and I'm bitching.
Yo.
I'm like, I want to give up, bro. I'm like, why'd I say this? Blah blah blah. And I've ran the 6.2 miles before, but just this day in particular, my mind was just like the negative side of my mind just kept like talking and talking. So what I did was I said I'm a man of my word, and this is in the run. I'm a man of my word, and the thing is, how you do anything is how you do everything. So what I've started to realize is that if I were to give up in this run, that's going to influence my future decisions in life. That's going to influence, do I give up if this podcast gets hard? Do I give up when I fail a test? Like in other aspects of my life. So I've decided, I think this is what other people should decide, is if you're struggling with something, just kind of decide on things that you can do. And maybe don't push yourself a little bit too hard, but get used to at least stepping outside of your boundaries.
Some real ass shit, bro.
Right?
I like that.
So something that we have been talking about a lot is our mental and being able to improve that. So how has journaling and meditation affected your mental and helped you grow and develop yourself?
Um, that's a good ass question. Um, Journaling in particular. Let me see where my book isn't on my bed, but I have that shit filled out to the brim, bro. Because there's a lot of stuff like in your head. Like once you write it down, it clears things up like exponentially, bro. And I almost feel like this is gonna be kind of like weird to explain, and I might fuck up explaining it. But when you're writing something down and you kind of just like let the pen flow, it's almost like you're having a conversation with yourself, like your internal self. Like obviously you're you, but it's like two people almost like, yo, Jalen, what's going on today, bro? It's like that. And meditation wise, sometimes you just need like that peace and quietness at the end of the day, or whenever you want to meditate in the morning, afternoon, whatever, while you're lifting weights. You just need that quietness and time to, relax. Cause like, as people, you got pressures throughout the whole day. Even if it's like a minute or two of silence, my nigga, that should be having you feel good. Like very good. Yeah.
So you've been meditating since for how? You've been meditating for quite a while now, right?
On and off since about, all right, here's actually a story. So sophomore year of high school, I was breaking like the fuck out of geometry, bro. Like horribly, like bro, my teacher was on my ass. Like I was scared for the regents, all of that. If you guys don't know, the regents is New York State test. I was scared as fucking shit. And I started going on YouTube. I was looking up stuff like, how to ease your mind and everything. And I found meditation. So I started doing it then, and it just stuck with me ever since. And bro, that shit is beautiful. Beautiful, bro.
Yeah, and for the people who've never meditated or who've been thinking about trying and haven't, I would say just take 1 minute, set a timer literally for 1 minute, and just close your eyes, turn the lights off, or leave the lights on, whatever you want, and just let yourself think. And the same thing with journaling. I think it's just a way of like how you mentioned talking to yourself, being able to get those crazy thoughts out of your head, and then kind of at one point you kind of just have nothing else to say, and that's when it feels like good. That's when I think there's like peace, when your mind's not constantly running and just going. So I think meditation is something that's amazing, and journaling as well. So shrooms.
Precisely, bro.
So shrooms are something that we both tried. How's your experience, and what did you learn, if anything?
See, I was gonna mention that, but I was like, I don't know if you want to talk about that on podcast. My nigga, that shit changed my fucking life, bro. That shit changed my life. At first, I was gonna go in, let me take 2 grams. Nigga, I took the whole fucking 4, bro. Took the 4 and it's an eighth. I was like, yo, let me take this shit, see what happens. Bro, it's completely changed my life from that point on. Like, completely. I haven't stunk the same, or I don't even know if dunk is a word, bro. But I haven't like had thoughts that were the same since then, like at all, in a good way. You know, it made me realize my true potential and what Jalen Johnson can do, bro. And I don't I don't know why, but like I I don't know how to explain this, bro. But shrooms doesn't mind. I feel like it should be more accessible so people could experience this. But it's beautiful. That shit changed me, man. But I want to know how it did for you, bro.
Yeah, so I absolutely love shrooms. I've done them twice. The first time, similar to you, I took an eighth, and I wanted to make sure before I took them. And this is not medical advice, or we're not telling you guys to take drugs, but don't be like us. But no, so so the first time I took an eighth, and I wanted to make sure I was in like the right mental space before I took them. And my experience with shrooms was that it made my mind like open, if that makes sense. It kind of when I took it with a friend, and I just felt like I was connected to like I don't know, just connected to the earth, to everything.
It's hard to explain,
Yeah,
right,
it's hard
bro?
to explain, but I just felt like my mind to my like mouth had no like delay. It was just like whatever I was thinking, that's what came out into the moment. And I would say that's kind of how I get into or I would say that's kind of how I get when I'm just having a really good conversation, where I feel like I could just talk, and that's the same feeling I got on shrooms. But it also made me realize that I had bigger goals than what I thought initially. I think I was limiting myself before shrooms, and now since I've taken shrooms, I would say I've kind of just improved like dramatically, which is awesome. So if anybody's listening, try shrooms, but be safe with it. Make sure you have like a trip partner, somebody who's like there to
For real,
stay with
bro.
you,
Don't
because
take that shit alone.
yeah, you don't know what could happen. But shrooms are definitely something that I absolutely love and would recommend.
Me
So
too.
I
Highly
want to know.
recommend.
I want to know. You mentioned true potential, and I just want to know what is the true potential for yourself, because that's something that you said that you kind of realized and picked up on when you were on shrooms.
Hmm. Trying to think how I should go about answering this.
Or maybe a better
Um.
question is, what does the greatest version of Jalen look like when you imagine that person?
Hmm. So you ever think of like a celebrity or anything, or just like an idol you look up to? I feel like after like taking shrooms specifically, like I became that like idol in my head. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't a specific person I was looking up to other than like myself and chasing whatever path like maybe to get to that point. And I feel like the true potential of me is just to do anything like not in like a chaotic way, like on some GTA shit. Do anything I want, like because it's all able to be accomplished. You feel me, bro? And I feel like that's what my true potential is. I don't want to limit myself at all. I've done that already. If I didn't, I don't know where I'd be. Shit, who knows? But I know for a fact that I know where I could be now that I'm not, or where I will be, I should say. So yeah, that's the true potential.
So a book that we both read is The Alchemist, and and for those listening who've never read it, it talks about personal legend, and it's basically what you've always wanted to accomplish in life. I asked you this question about a year ago. I was going through our messages preparing for this little interview, and and a year ago you weren't sure about the answer. Has that changed? And if it has, my question is, what is your personal legend? What do you believe you were put on this earth to accomplish?
Hmm. I think I kind of mentioned this earlier, but since reading that book and just like developing as a human, it's been a year. Um, I feel like I've grown to learn that my personal legend is to one, help others, in life. You feel me? I feel like I can help like influence people a lot. Same with you. You're doing a podcast right now, but a bunch of people are gonna hear this, and one word you say or one sentence could change your life. And the idea of that, just being able to influence people, is fucking amazing, bro. And I love that. But also, I feel like I was put on this earth just to, hmm, like I guess same with influence, help others. So yeah. What about you?
So for me, my personal legend is, this is something that I struggled with so much. And for anybody listening who's like struggling with this as well, I think the first thing that you need to know is be patient, that in time you'll figure it out, and not to really stress about it. The more things, like, I think the more you stress about things in life, the more you push them away. I'm reading this book right now called The Power of Intention, and it basically talks about how intention is like this force in the universe, and that's where everything comes from. So it mentions like just that when you think about like negative thoughts, for example, that's all you get when you say like for example, when you say something along the line like, "Oh, me and my girlfriend are always arguing." If you think that and reinforce that, that's literally what's gonna show up in reality. But what my personal legend is, I think it's just similar to you, to like help people, inspire people, be the person who I know I could be. And also, my whole thing is, I think my purpose is similar to personal legend, is just to become the greatest version of myself. I think that's what I was put onto earth to do. And it took me a while to realize this, and I'll be completely honest, it was because I realized that if that was my purpose, that means that comes with a lot of responsibility. Because the greatest version of myself, that's not somebody who slacks off. That's not somebody who, like, he's not perfect, but that takes a lot of work and effort, and that's something I was afraid of. I was afraid of, am I going to be able to put enough work in? And that's something I realized that I was really scared of, was putting in effort. And I was always questioning whether I'd be able to do things because I didn't know if I was willing to commit to like the process. So that's really what I kind of struggled with. But what I'm starting to like slowly get better at is realizing that it is a process. It's just that it's like a one day at a time thing. I'm not going to be the greatest version of myself in one day, but it's also a daily thing, if that makes sense. I have to be the greatest version of myself today to be that person down the line. So,
I get exactly what you mean, bro.
what do you say?
I get exactly what you mean. That's some deep ass shit, bro. For real. Literally for real. I like touch and listen to that shit, but for real, I agree too.
So, what are some things? So, like for me personally, things that I've kind of realized, I guess, that really like help me in life are journaling, meditation, lifting. Oh, something I wanted to talk about was with lifting. It seems like I saw this on your Instagram. It seems like you know the joke where it's people are always like, oh, when I go to the gym, that's like my only time of like being happy, right? But then when I leave the gym,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like life kind of goes back to sucking again. And I realized like that's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of like a lot of people do actually feel like that. So
Sometimes I should be dead ass, bro.
yeah. So my question to you is, how do you kind of deal with that feeling of, damn, like the gym is really the only place where I could be happy? Because I know I felt this, so I'm just wondering how you deal with it.
Um, all right, quick story. Well, actually, it's not gonna be that quick. It's a little bit long, but now every day, like the gym isn't necessarily my happy place. It's just a place I go to just, for fun. But about 6 months ago, I'd say a little, maybe 7 or 8 months ago, actually. Um, I joined the union, like in the city, to do fucking construction, bro. My nigga, that shit was cheeks. Like, all jokes aside, bro, that shit was legitimately depressing as fuck. Like, I knew I couldn't do that. And during that time, the gym that was like the safe place, bro. Just get off of work and go to the gym, literally like go straight to the gym from work and just sleep and do the whole process again. Like that amount of time, like the 1 or 2 hours I'd be at the gym, that shit was like a break from life. You know what I mean? And then it really did help. But I'm just glad about that shitty situation, bro. And now the gym is just, the gym is just a gym now. I love it.
So first of all, I gotta say you're a fucking psychopath for going from construction work straight to the gym. What? So you were lifting heavy shit at the construction?
Bro.
So how did that like? How did your body feel when you were like doing that? Because I can imagine. Because I have a friend who does construction, and he says like his body's like destroyed after like working.
Bro, I thought like it was a joke when niggas were like, they're gonna be fucked up. Bro, I was fucked up. Like, cause you'd be going like walking around the stairs, carrying heavy ass shit all day, bro. And then after that, I would have to walk like 2 miles to the train station. Nigga, my knees were clipped, bro. I could not walk for shit, bro. Had the bow-legged walk. It was just bad all around, bro. Super bad. Go home with mad dust and shit, just being musty, bro. It was terrible. It was straight terrible. Like, obviously, some people do like construction, but that shit had me fucked up.
So did you learn anything while you were like kind of doing the construction work?
Um, actually, I learned a really, really big lesson. So if I didn't do the construction, I'm glad, which I'm glad I actually did, because I wouldn't have learned this. So one day, my foreman, which was pretty much like the manager on the site, he came up to me and I was alone, just in the room putting up caulk, which is like the fire stuff on the walls. Like you see up in the corner, you put that there so like the fire doesn't spread. It's a fire retardant. So I was doing that and he walked up to me and he was like, "Kid, you're so fucking smart and you're doing this stupid ass job. There's a bunch of college dropouts, people who didn't go to school at all, doing this job, and you're one of the smartest people I know, and you're doing this. Why would you limit yourself to doing this stupid job where you could do something else and just really like do what you want to do?" And I would always talk about him about like the shit I'm interested in. And he was like, "This isn't something you should be doing. You're way better than this. And if you stay, you're just gonna be like everybody else on this site." And if that didn't happen, I don't know where I'd be. Like that was definitely a pivotal moment in my life. And I'm appreciative like forever for that, because it changed the way I thought. I was like, fuck, he's right, bro. Why am I doing this?
And you know that's crazy because that kind of goes back to like the alchemists and like omens when the universe will send you, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, sends you like signs in your life on whether you should take it. So maybe somebody else would have been like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like they would have doubted themselves and just stayed doing what they did. But first, I want to say that's pretty awesome because, like in the Alchemist talks about, I think it was like the merchant who his whole life he was like he wanted to do more, and he told like Santiago, the main character, like the same thing, like hey, like you're meant for more. You shouldn't just be staying at the shop. So it kind of just like the parallels between the guy who's been working there and kind of like
You're
the
right,
young
bro.
kid. So that's crazy, and also shows how when good people like there's also a lot of good people out there because he could have easily like shitted on you, been like, or he couldn't have easily just not said that, but out of the good of his heart, and just like it's just nice when you can see somebody like make an influence like that. So it's pretty dope. So
Honestly, bro, I
yeah.
needed that. Like I needed that because I was in my head, like I was thinking the same thing, but when somebody actually tells you it, it's so much different. So yeah, bro, I'm fucking forever grateful that that happened. It was an omen, bro. So yeah.
And it reinforced like what you said. You already thought it in your head, but you maybe like didn't believe it yet. So like hearing stuff like that. So like for example, for like podcasts, like I had doubts, so many doubts, and then I would tell people about the idea, and they would be like, "Yo, that's actually like a really good idea." And I don't know. And then I'd keep telling people, I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it," because I thought the more I would say something, I guess the more I guess the more I thought about saying like, oh, I'm gonna start this, the more I would have to like people would eventually start saying like, oh, I thought you said you were gonna do this and this and this, and I'll be like, damn, yeah, kind of like feel like put myself in a situation where I had to start it. So yeah, that was just like that was just
I'm
a crazy
glad you started
situation.
it, bro. Like you're one of the best speakers I've ever met. Like legit, bro. Like I feel like if somebody speaks to you, they feel comforted, and I feel comforted when I speak to you. Like you're a great speaker, and I like if I knew about this before, I would have been like, yo, like do it, bro. You're fucking amazing. One of the most charismatic people I've ever met. Like for real. I'm really proud of you, bro. For real.
I
So yeah.
appreciate that, and you're also one of the most charismatic people I met. So how me and Jalen met? So if you guys don't know yet, I'm a part of a fraternity at St. John's University, and my job was recruitment chairman. So I'm here to like try and recruit people, talk to people, and I saw Jalen on Instagram. Like this dude's muscular as shit. I'm like, that looks like a somebody who I'd want in my fraternity. So I reach out to him. Me and him were talking, and this was all over the phone. You could just hear like how charismatic he is, how much of a people person he is. So it was just awesome, and I want to give you your flowers because you're definitely one of the hardest working people I see. Because I know
Thank
lifting's
you,
not
bro.
easy, and for you to like crush like his like the progress you've made in 2 years is fucking ridiculous. And I seriously think you have a talent for it. But something I
I'm
seen that you
blushing.
start. So something I've seen that you started doing is getting into stocks. Can you tell me like how you've gotten to? I'm not sure. Are you a day trader, or could you just tell me like how you got into all of that?
Oh yeah, bro. I'm a day trader. Like I'm actually looking at a chart right now. That's why I feel like ever see my like eyes glance out, it's right in front of me. But um I got into it about 2 years ago. You know what Forex is. Everybody knows that shit when niggas were just like, yo, join my fucking group. So one of my friends was like, yo, join. This nigga was convincing as fuck, bro. Like if he can convince a nigga to do anything, bro. So I was like, all right, let me try this out. And I did. I was fucking blowing money, but I realized you can make money through trading, like whether it be Forex options and just like swing trading stocks, whatever, crypto. There's like a lot of money to be made. And once I realized that, I just started looking into it more and more. And I was like, yo, I can do this shit. And even though it took some time, I was just able to slowly become knowledgeable about everything and just make money off of it. That's also one of the things I did instead of construction. Like there was 1 week, or no, not 1 week, one day when I was doing construction and I made more money trading than I would in like 2 months. So I was just like, yo, why the fuck am I doing this shit as in construction? So then, here we are.
So let's say somebody's listening and they kind of want to get into stocks, forex trading, and all that. What would be your like first steps, your advice to them?
Um, hmm. Sorry, my mom's talking to me. Not yet. I'm sorry. Um, sorry about that, bro. So what I would say, hmm, for stocks, I would say look at your favorite stores like Nike, stuff like that. See what you like and look at those stocks. Maybe just start off by buying shares. But if you want to get into options, look up how to read candlesticks, look up like market fundamentals and technical stuff, and you'll be good. It takes a while to learn, but if you can make a shit ton of money in a day off of like 5 minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes of your time, it's great, bro. It's another source of income.
So how did it feel when because you mentioned that you made in like a couple minutes what you could have made in like 2 months of working construction. What was your thought process? How were you like, what were you just thinking in that moment, feeling in that moment when you just like saw the amount of money that you made?
Bro, I was pissing my fucking pants out of like fucking happiness, nigga. I was like, fuck. Like, bro, that shit was good. Like, I was like, okay, I'm quitting, nigga. Like, it just felt fucking amazing, bro. Cause I'm like, yo, I'm glad I learned this early, so I don't gotta like spend time doing it later in life. I'm lit. I was just thinking, this is the key out, bro. I ain't gotta worry about shit. Shit, I'm gonna give my mom $100 just for the hell of it. Here, have 100. Like it just felt fucking amazing, bro. So yeah.
So since we've both been on like the self-improvement journey, this is something I've been thinking of and something that I've been kind of realizing, but I want to see your like point of view. How is self-improvement and how has that like changed how people interacted with you, if at all? Have you seen like a change in like especially since you've been working out, have you seen like a change in how people treat you, like interact with you at all or no?
Um, huh. Actually, kind of, but it's a little bit hard to like gauge, I guess, because I'm not gonna lie, like even since I was in high school and stuff, there was like a point where I was just like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna just be like charismatic and shit. Like there's just one day I was like, all right, I'm gonna start talking about people, all this. And once people in public kind of see you doing that and being like friendly, they're just more inclined to speak to you off the bat, you know? Like yeah, to be honest, I have had more random people and shit walk up to me and just be like, yo, Jalen, what's up? Or not Jalen, but yo, random nigga, what's up? Just being friendly. So yes.
Yeah, and that's something I've realized too, and I forgot where I saw this, and this is gonna sound like super cocky, but it's not supposed to sound cocky at all. But I think like once you start self improving, or fuck that, it's not cocky. I just think it's how it is. I think once you start like self improving and like you get into the gym, you start meditating, you start just kind of being on your purpose and focusing on like what you want to achieve in life. I think people like subconsciously, spiritually, some on some level they like notice that and like gravitate towards you. I've like realized like
Yeah,
even like I've been like mindful of like how I walk and like like posturing up and like walking like I'm like that nigga. So like I feel like people like I've had people like come up to me and just like compliment me and stuff like on some like random stuff like say hi to me like hold the door for me more now. And I was like in high school or like even like my first year of college when I was not the person who I am today. It's just like different. Like you just see like, and it kind of makes you appreciate that, and it makes the journey so much more worth it because you realize that, like how you were just saying like earlier in the podcast, we're just regular people, but it's just interesting. And I think people put famous people, successful people on a platform where they feel like they can't be that person. They think this person did it because he was talented, he was lucky, given all the excuses that's so easy, but they don't see the work that people put in behind the door. So I think it's just like I think it's just something
exactly.
that people need to get through their brain that like, yo, you're special too, you're unique too. You just need to figure out what those talents are. So going,
Completely agree, bro.
what do you say?
Oh, I said completely agree. Like, bro, when people see that, or just even if it's a random person, I'll do it too. I ain't getting a lot. I'm more inclined to say what's up because I'm just like, this nigga's cool. I don't know him, but know he's cool. You know, just like little shit like that.
So going back to like books, I know you're an avid reader. So if someone listening hasn't read a book in a while and they will kind of want a recommendation, what book would you recommend and why?
Hmm. Does it genre matter? Um. Okay. Honestly, next to Alchemist or The Alchemist, my second favorite book is Grit by Angela Duckworth. That shit was fucking good. Like I was sad the shit ended. And bro, I wasn't even a reader like that prior to those books. And it made me a reader. I'm like, yo, they're telling some real ass stories. And the thing with books is you can kind of imagine what's going on. But Grit essentially teaches, like we've been saying like this whole podcast, discovering your true self, reaching self-actualization, and just getting that potential. Grit's all about that. It's a lot like The Alchemist, honestly, but it's not like a specific story. It's like real life examples. That shit was good.
And I started the book from your recommendation. I haven't finished it. I have to go back and finish it. But something that it
Read
talks
that
about,
shit, bro.
I know I got, to, but I'll actually, I got another book that I'm reading right now, but I'll finish it after that. So something I think it talks about, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but like
Mhm.
it says, I think there's like talented people, and then there's the people who have grit, and grit's basically like the ability to keep going without fail, like despite failure, despite in the face of failure, you're able to keep going. So I guess what's like the biggest thing that you've struggled with that you needed to kind of grit through and push your way through in life?
Hmm. There's a lot of shit, bro. There's a lot of shit. But one of the things I would say, like a good ass display of grit was I don't know if I told you this before, but I wrestled in high school. It was my first time ever wrestling. I never did that shit prior. But when I was in high school, there's mad niggas who did it before. There was like mad people who did it before, which made it way tougher to get into. Cause like, nigga, I'm going against fucking LeBron James right now, and I just started this shit. So it just made me push myself to the limits. Like, bro, I was going to other states literally just to train to get better. Cause it's not like I had natural talent or anything, bro. I was just like anybody else who started it. So I just had to push like that extra way through. And like those prior experiences of grit, they just make you a grittier person, you know? So yeah.
And I think you said something that's super key there. The prior experiences of grit make you a grittier person. I think that goes to anything in life. I think, especially with self improvement, the daily habits that you do today are going to make it easier the next day and the day after that. Because lifting sucks at first. And then after a while, like I've been lifting almost 4 years now. And it's kind of like, I don't really lift for like, to like look better at this point. I kind of just lift because I like going to the gym. It makes me happy. You know, it's like a fun thing to do, like how you said before. But I think what people need to realize is that you really just need to. The only way to get better and succeed is to go through that adversity. It's gonna suck, but it's not as bad as you think. It's really all in your head that kind of builds up like the anxiety, the problems, the what ifs, all that stuff. So these
Everything is mental, bro.
everything is mental for sure. So these are some final questions that I like to ask guests to see if there's a common occurrence, I guess, with success and how people view success. So my first question to you is, what's your definition of success?
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like success is very subjective. Like, there could be a random middle class like dad or some shit who he's considered successful because he has a great family. Like he might not be making like $1 million a year or anything, but he's successful. He has a great family, kids who love him, a wife that loves him, all that stuff. So I say success is very subjective, but success for me is I for me personally, I don't think I've reached it yet, but when I like we mentioned earlier, when I'm able to just touch people and they're like, yo, Jalen did this for me, that's when I'm gonna really feel like more successful because I was able to impact their lives. And from impacting them, they're gonna impact more lives too. This is like a domino effect of niggas getting successful in whatever way they want to be too. So yeah.
My second to last question is, let's say today's your last day on earth. You have the world's attention. With all the experiences you've had, the conflicts you face, and the lessons you learned, you're able to tell people two things. What would be your advice?
Fuck, that's a deep ass question, bro. Oh my goodness, bro. Whew, fuck. Hmm. Wow. Sorry, I gotta think about that a little bit. Don't sell yourself short, ever. Whatever kid is listening to me speak when I'm doing that like big speech, don't sell yourself short. I know there's been people in your life who have maybe told you can't do it, whether it be a parent, a friend who's like envious, whatever. Like, don't sell yourself short because somebody else did that to you. You can do whatever you want. There's nothing holding you back. Um, Two, hmm, realize that you only have one life. You know, there's a lot of people, like, I'm sure you've met older people who have been like, fuck, I wish I could have done this. And they're starting to do the things they like now, but they're so old, it's like, fuck, I could have done something else in this time. So realize that you only have one life and to cherish it, because you only live once. And if there's anything risky or anything like you want to take, like, I don't know if it's a financial thing, you want to start something, do it, bro. Like, nothing's promised. You can die tomorrow. You can die now. I don't know. Some shit can fly through my fucking window and hit me. You know? So nothing's promised except for death. Like, if there's something you want to do, you have to do it. Yeah.
All right, and my last question to you, which might be the most important, is where can listeners find you?
Listeners can find me on Instagram at typical.jalen. YouTube, TYP. It's also in the Instagram bio. TikTok, typical Jalen as well. You know, saying typical, you feel me? And if you want to hit me up on Snapchat, my Snapchat is Jalen the Snapper. Jalen DA Snapper. Because, you know, I got a little bit of swag to it. Duh, you feel me? But that's about it, bro.
All right. Thank you, Typical Jalen, for a great episode of Case by Casey. Thanks for listening to this episode of Case by Casey. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to drop a like, follow, or rate on whatever platform you're listening on. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if you want to help others prepare for the path to success, don't forget to share this episode on social media so we can reach success together.